we have a lot to discuss today, sir.
Uh-oh.
My brain. Now, granted, we've been out of school for a while, but school was never meant to be like this.
Speaking of, the picture in the background looks very familiar to me.
Huh.
But anyway.
Apparently there's a school in Killeen, Texas, where a teacher, a middle school teacher, took it upon him or herself to make their own materials for the class. When I say materials, I mean learning materials. Crossword puzzles, word scrambles, things like that. And decided that it wasn't just enough to have, the regular educational ones. They were going to take it a step further and use all racist and trigger words. So,
that's nice.
Yeah. So you'd have things like, your word searches with just insulting after insult after insult on there. And these are actually words that they wanted you to unscramble. It blows my mind. It blows my mind how any school could even entertain the idea. Even the teacher, these are fill in the blank, fill in the missing letters, and this is what they give you. It's just. I'm almost speechless.
Not to mention that last one, they didn't even do the yours correctly.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, you're teaching them. Really, you're not even.
But my thing is, they've got all these tools at their disposal. Apparently, they can make up what they need for the class, and this is the route they take. I believe it was Morgan Freeman who said, we can get rid of racism by not talking about it. Okay, but we're not talking about it and you're bringing it into the schools. You can't normalize just by overuse. It's not how it works. It'll never be accepted.
No, ever.
So
I don't know why they're trying to force it down our throats by... What are they trying to quickly sneak in a generation of,
that's what
of kids that this is okay with?
If you start with the little kids and tell them it's okay, it doesn't mean anything. It's just words. It's just words. It's just words. Then they grow up.
Right. In the meantime, these kids that are in a transition because now their education is being challenged, they still have to learn something. So what happens? They're continuing to learn whatever it is. What are they learning today? Now that we're talking about.
They're perpetuating racism by claiming there's no racism. Because what happens is
you want to whitewash it.
You're going to normalize it for these young kids, and they're going to grow up. They're going to use those words, and they're going to get their asses handed. And that's going to create hatred and more dividing of the country. It's instead of saying, okay, these are words that you can never say, and you will hear them once in your lifetime in school, and don't ever, that's it. These are words, you don't need to take them home and tell mom and dad. You don't need to call your best friend them. Those are unacceptable words. And teach them these are unacceptable. You know how many times I've had to teach my kids when they were growing up, hey, you don't say damn it in front of the priest, Don't tell the lady at the grocery aisle that she's fat. It doesn't work,
Right.
But yet all those words, fat, idiot, crackhead, they're all in these lists.
Right. All the derogatory words.
Yeah. They're all in these lists, and it's amazing how they can get away with this. As a school, as a classroom. I'm totally flabbergasted. Look at this. Look at this. And I believe, I believe that some smart person said to me that if you look, now you've got red is dumbass. Where is red on both their hats?
You have that association, right?
So now you have association of anyone who's wearing a red hat, they must be a dumbass. Who wears red hats? Okay, Republicans do.
Right,
Okay?
but they're also associating those colors too.
Right.
You know.
Right, and it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the baseball glove is brown. Why? Because it's fat, and the little bear is fat.
Right.
You know, it's just you know, it's early, almost like Pavlovian training, where
Sure.
they show, you know, you see this, you associate that, you hear this, you associate that, and that's what they're doing now.
Definitely. Sure.
You know, but did the government?
But it just seems like they're not holding back. They're going all in. Boom. By the
Well,
kids.
they have to.
You know, it's like they're forgetting subtle.
Right, because they're going to turn around and say, you see, the reason why this is happening is because, you know, people that are not native to this country are coming over the borders, and, you know, we have somehow they're affecting our school system. Now, this school in Khalid is
Yeah, but they've been told a false fear.
This school in Khalid is 90% minorities, and 95% of those minorities are black or brown children.
Right, but
I'm sorry,
they've tried to
black or
make the white
Hispanic.
person feel like they're being bred to extinction. You know,
Right.
They're so afraid. There's so much inbreeding. Well, you know what? If you're so worried about that, guess what? You don't have to sleep with anyone that's out of your race if you're so sure.
Oh, I agree with you.
You can choose whatever you want. And if
I
that's what your fear is, then hey, you know what? More power to you.
I
But
totally
you don't
agree.
they don't have to force this shit on the rest of everybody else.
I totally agree, but my thing is, if that whole school is minorities, and the majority of the minorities are black and Hispanic, what did this teacher feel like they were going to accomplish by handing these words to black and Hispanics and saying, here's words we call you, make senses out of it?
I'm surprised that something didn't happen. You know, like the students kind of going off on their teacher for this.
Well, apparently the teacher has been.
I can't believe they
let
turned in the homework assignments if that's what it was.
go. Apparently the teacher's been let go. The school won't confirm nor deny whether they were fired or resigned. But the parents apparently.
Whatever. Mutual
the
fuck
parents-
off.
Parents went on social media and were screaming, how could this even happen in the first place? How could this get into the school? You know?
How come there's such a website that's got that shit on there too? That didn't get screened out somehow.
Right. I mean, I think it's a generic thing. You can go in and put words in that you want, and they'll do the whole thing. But
Okay,
There's
well
no-
they
there's
should
no
they should
filter.
draw the line at, oh wow,
Right.
what's wrong with this shit?
yeah, there should be a filter.
You know?
know?
Hell yeah, there should be a filter. Maybe they never thought that some teacher would do something stupid like this. You know?
Meantime, let's look at the other side of the coin. Meantime, over in Florida, we're burning books and banning books and getting rid of any book that has anything to do with anything that's not white.
A little more resistance there I'm seeing out there. The school. Excuse me.
Really?
The school boards and stuff. I've seen a few things here and there where people are speaking out. They're going to more of these things and trying to shine a light on the stupidity of the people that are trying to have certain books banned. It's like, you don't think they can get this material somewhere else? Do you think this is the only place that they have access to this material? You know, it's a library. You know, you can find this stuff online at minimum. You know, so what are they really trying to protect their kids from?
I mean, they're taking it out of school libraries, but they still haven't. They can't take them out of public libraries. It's illegal.
Well, yeah, but the public library here, yeah, they pull stuff. The library, there's no science really at all, science fiction in that library. I can't find it. So yeah, they can limit whatever it is that they want. But yeah, the kids can have access to material from an abundance of sources. You know, the school
Right.
being a very minor place. You know, it just happens to be somewhere they spend time. I would rather that my kid had readily available advice nearby who doesn't understand something. You know, or she for that matter. You know, once they read, they could go to the librarian, they can go to the counselor's office down the hall or something like that.
Right.
Hey, I read this. What is this? Can you help me understand this?
You could go to the teacher, and the teacher could say, "Hey, you got a free class. On your free class, go see the counselor."
Because you don't have that on the internet.
No.
I'd rather have them in a safer environment in school or somewhere else when they go to explore information that they're not really sure about.
Right.
When they're looking for answers.
Now,
They're
with
trying
this,
to cut that at the knees.
I hate to point fingers, but I also like to gloat, so it's a mixed bag here. This crazy insanity stuff, like this racist classwork, the banning of books, it's all happening A, in the South, and B, in red states, in Republican states. You don't hear about
Yes,
that.
Sarah Sanders banned CRT in this state.
Yeah, because
K through 12.
because they teach it so much in there.
Yeah, I want to ask her, where did you learn CRT again?
You know, it's like saying, well, you know what? As soon as I become president, I'm banning flying cars.
They banned electric cars in, I don't know. They banned electric cars somewhere, damn it. In one state did. I wish I could say where. I thought it was Colorado, but whatever.
But these are
totally wrong.
these are southern and they're Republican states.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the world is looking and going, oh, is that how America really is? No, that's not how we really are. That's not the reputation we need.
No. We need to be on the cutting edge of stuff like we used to be.
You know? Yes. Back in the 60s, there was segregation. We learned. We grew. We adapted. We overcame.
The only
Most
thing I
of
wouldn't
us.
mind going back to was our drive. That's a pretty good drive. Our family values weren't too bad.
Right.
They can skip all the other stuff. The food's pretty good too. But skip all the other stuff, the racism and this child labor and all that. Going back to one parent having to work, we could go back to that when you didn't have to have two incomes just to survive. I'd like to go back to that. You know, where pensions actually existed and the
Right.
employers took care of their people when they retired and not the federal government. You know, or us, our taxes, actually, Social Security that we pay for, which is not a fucking entitlement.
Right, but I think part of the problem is as generations have progressed, they've also regressed, and the integrity that we were raised with, the kids nowadays aren't being raised with that. I remember when a handshake on a deal was enough.
When it meant something.
Yeah, you give somebody your word. That's it. I remember when in my 20s,
I haven't trusted that for a long time.
I could walk into a car dealership, say, "Listen, I'm putting down X amount of money. This is what I'm going to spend. Put me in a car," or I walk out the door and then get in a car. Now you walk in and they go, "Yeah, who gives a shit about you?"
Oh, they don't even get out of their seats when they come in anymore, and they don't know me. It's been a long time since I've been at a dealership. You know, yeah. In fact, the VW dealership now, the salespeople have no idea what the prices are. They don't know anything at all about the pricing. They only talk about the product. Period.
Yeah, it's
what? You know, the Walmart just up here is 100%. There's one register. The rest is self-checkout. The whole store, one register. They got rid of their customer service when it was gone. Yeah, it's a automatic store now.
Whatever happened to? I guess it was fear of ridicule. Remember when we were young? If you ever walked into a McDonald's and started insulting and cursing the cashier or the people behind the counter, you get basically harassed out of the place by other patrons.
By the customers, yeah.
Yeah. Now
who the fuck do you think you are acting like that? Yeah.
Now it happens and people just pull out their cameras, go shh, watch, let's see. It's like, come on, get involved. Stop being so.
I know.
Stand up for a fellow person.
Even in my condition, I've stood up for people. I'm thankful I've never started a fight, but yeah, you have to speak up. People don't, they usually back down when they're called out in public. Because if you're one, then there might be another one. You don't want to deal with the crowd, so you just back off.
Well, we've got to find a way to convince these Republican states that stuff like this, even if they want to call it a one-off, it's not acceptable.
Right.
Not acceptable in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there has to be a way to convey this. And I don't want to say the Republicans, because I think it's a matter of where they live as to opposed to what political affiliation they have. It seems like even if you're a moderate or a Democrat and you live in Texas, you still go along with this bullshit.
Right.
You know, it's like mob mentality. It's like, well, if they're going to do it, then I'm going to do it because I don't want to be the one on the outside.
Right.
And sometimes you've got to be the one on the outside. That's the only way change happens.
Yeah, makes sense. But we need to. Our voices need to be heard. The voice of reason. You know.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But see, that's the thing. How do we get our voice heard? You know,
that's a challenge, and it should be easy in our electronic society. If they put a little effort into it, I'm sure there'd be a way to have the constituents' voices heard, even if it's only a yes, no, or a multiple choice way or whatever. We need to have those questions put out to us and let us decide on how our representatives vote. You know, if there's a vote coming up, ask what your constituents want. There should be a way to do it. You know.
No, I agree with you.
A way to get a reasonable consensus. I mean, they can get a poll about anything. Why can't they get a consensus in real time?
My question is, can we do it without the interference of the government? Can we, as a people, get together and say we don't want this anymore? You know, stop putting this shit in our schools. Stop taking out books that we don't want. You know, that we need. You know, children need to read. The Red Badge of Courage.
Voting is the way to do it, though.
I heard they were attacking Winnie the Pooh recently.
And A&W Bear.
I'm like, come on, will you?
You know, that's why are they even caring about it? It's capitalism, man. See, let their stuff sink or swim. You know, they'll either make it or they won't.
It should be up to us to go up to those schools and say, yeah, we're not going to let you do that. And the schools go, okay.
Well, that's about voting, because we vote those boards in and we elect those members of those school panels. So that boils down to you got to start going to these local things and paying attention and getting your voice even at the lower level where everything else starts. Well, and even non-parents, in fact, most of the people that are putting these wackos in position don't even have kids. They got no skin in the game. You know, so just because you don't have kids, don't think you shouldn't go and try to help build a better society by a proper way of educating our kids. You may have had kids, you have at least experience.
Well, I'm just outraged and flabbergasted how it even made it into school one day. I mean, you're right. Why didn't the website that they used to make these sheets to generate the work?
This is not even allowed the words.
Yeah, you can't. No,
No, need another word. How many times have you tried to make a fucking password? And because you didn't do a whatever, it won't let you do it. Well, have the same with words on these forms.
Now, I can understand.
Words you just can't use.
I can understand if the software was also used for colleges, but it seems like it's mostly school, elementary.
Well, then the college can leave the space blank that word needs to fit in, and they can write it in or print it some other way.
No, yeah.
Whatever. If this is a national school thing to make the bulk of their work easier, great. But if you want to, like you say, because I could understand an ethics course or something like that, needing to get deeper into it for college, but you could do that on a word program or whatever at your school,
right,
or on your own computer. That won't be an issue for you. But when you have all kinds of things in your courses change like students do, especially now, I can imagine how curriculums change for K through 12 alone.
Right. So, I think my final thought on this is, A, we need better resources for the teachers. I hate to say it, but we have to police the teachers to do the right thing that they should be doing in the first place. Secondly, we need to vet the teachers better than we do. There has to be some sort of system that before they can be teach in front of children, we know if they have mental illness. Why can't we find out if they're, racist scumbags as well?
But we also need to find things to attract teachers, like benefits, better pay, reasonable pay, not having not having to buy their own supplies, stuff like that.
Right, but you need to. That part is a double-edged sword, because if you raise the benefits and all that, you're also opening the opportunity for people who really don't give a shit to teach, but want the money and the benefits.
Well, no, you still need. No, let's leave all the other criteria in place, but add into it.
Right.
And you're right. We need something in place to better, for lack of a better word, vet our teachers. Yeah, absolutely. To keep the junk out, the trash.
Right.
Or who knows? We might actually have a place in our society to teach that as a lesson. We can have them teach their crazy. Here's conspiracy 101. Go ahead and teach your conspiracies. At least it's in a controlled environment.
High school, you shouldn't be in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade learning, hey, we can call, these are new words for us to call people.
Now, that'd be a college course.
Of course it would.
Yeah, it would have to fall into like an ethics course. Now, think about it. Look at what has happened. I know it's a whole other subject, but there's so many things that have happened. Hey, maybe there is a place for that in a controlled environment as a learning tool.
I think it would be in high school, because in high school is where you start to get your civics and ethics classes.
Another topic.
Right. All right. Well,
A deeper dive.
As always, it's been a pleasure.
You too, man.
And we'll be back tomorrow.